Tonight's investigation has been successful?
I think it's been an incredible investigation.
Active, absolutely active. I mean, we've seen things, we've heard things, voices, footsteps, you name it.
Great. It seems like there's been a ton of activity.
Yes. It really has.
Awesome. Well, are you ready to reveal your findings to Richard, the owner?
I think so. I think we got everything just about wrapped up and ready to go.
Perfect. All right, when we come back, Jason and Grant are going to reveal their startling paranormal findings to Pennhurs' owner, and I will announce the winner of America's Hometown Ghost Hunt. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Ghost Hunters Halloween Live. Before we get to the evidence from tonight's investigation, let's reveal the results of America's Hometown Ghost Hunt. You got to choose which location you wanted Taps to investigate in a future episode of Ghost Hunters. I will tell you, there were more than 40,000 entries on sci-fi.com. And after all that, the winning location was from Sean P. And the location, historic Charleston, North Carolina. Congratulations, Sean, and thank you all for playing along. Well, we are in the final minutes of our investigation here at Pennhurs Asylum in Pennsylvania. I am joined behind me by members of the Taps family and especially by Jason and Grant, who are just doing the final touches on their evidence. How's it going, guys?
Good.
You've had a lot of stuff to go through tonight, right?
Yes.
I mean, to say the least.
These guys have performed amazingly. I mean, the Taps home team are top notch.
Yeah, and they did have a lot of evidence coming into this office tonight.
Yes, a lot happened. We had a lot of experiences, but not all of them translated very well to the equipment. But we definitely have some stuff we're anxious to show you and Richard.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to return after this, but first, actually, before we go to any sort of break, let's just get to it. Let's talk about what we found here tonight. I am here with Richard Shikajian, the owner of the property. Richard, how are you?
Josh, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. Listen, first of all, thank you for letting Taps and all of us come to the property and conduct an investigation.
Well, grateful for the effort of Taps, the experience, the expertise that Jason and Grant bring, and all the Taps members. Hoping to get some answers to some of the problems that we face here.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready to hear what happened tonight?
I think so.
All right, you guys ready to reveal the evidence?
I'll start off with the...
All right, well, let's just talk big picture for a second.
Yes.
Okay. Overall, in terms of collecting evidence tonight, in terms of the paranormal, how did it go?
I think it went great.
Honestly, it was extremely active. Most places, it takes a while being in there for stuff to start to kick up and happen, but I mean, right off the bat, we started hearing things down in the tunnels. We had footsteps running at us.
The minute we went down there, we started hearing it sounded like things would be coming up one way on us, and we'd go down that way. It started sounding like it was coming up behind us. Just moving all around.
And you want to keep in mind, too, that down there the acoustics are crazy. We could hear our own footsteps behind us, and it sounded like we were being followed, but we figured that one out. But ruling that out, there was a lot going on.
A lot going on. And, you know, when Richard asked you guys to come back, he also told you about Dietary Hall. This is a place you guys hadn't investigated in before, and he had a lot of concerns about it. And so what was it like in Dietary Hall? What did you find there?
Dietary Hall was really interesting. We kept hearing what sounded like somebody coming into the room on us as we were there. We even tried to set up the laser grid just to see if we were able to see anything out there, but constant moving throughout the location. Now, of course, it's missing part of the ceiling, and you have to worry about the outside contamination, animals, but it didn't sound like animals. It would sound like footsteps just shuffling through, back and forth.
Yeah, we're pretty skilled at being able to sort the ambient sounds from other sounds, and we were waiting for someone to come around that corner. We just sat there in hiding, waiting for something to happen, and no one ever came in.
And Richard, does this align with some of the stuff you've been hearing with your employees and visitors to Dietary Hall?
Well, as the guys point out, the buildings are clearly challenged physically, and the other challenges I don't have the answers to. That's what we needed your help with, and learning some of this is beginning to enable me to provide some answers and solve some problems, I hope.
And these guys are saying that they thought they heard somebody in there, they thought they heard footsteps. That kind of lines up with what one of your people was talking about.
In Dietary, we had reports of singing and carrying on. We had reports of people seeing visions in the windows from the recycling facility. And it was major distractions and concerns for employees. And as I said, we lost several employees.
And well, at least from an audio perspective, then, it does seem like we have some validation of these claims inside Dietary Hall.
Seems consistent. Thanks, guys. Grateful for that.
All right, so let's talk about the rest of the evidence. Let's go to some of the highlights from tonight's investigation. What do you got for us, guys?
You know, I think I really want to address the fact or faked guys. They did a great job. You handed us a photo, and in that photo there was a face near the bottom. If you look behind you, we've got the original on the right-hand side. On the left, it's a little dark, but on the left, they were able to recreate the face with dirt. They were able to kind of make a face-like shape on the floor, which is great. They were able to recreate it, but that doesn't satisfy our needs because that photo was one of many, and in the other photos, the face wasn't there. So it wasn't something that was on the floor. So the fact or fake guys were not satisfied with that. What they did find out, though, is that as they were taking pictures, there's particulate matter in the air, and some of those can cause streaking and things like that. And that face may be due to particulate matter in the air, but it just didn't seem to match what they were catching as far as orb type things or dust in the air. So honestly, the way the lighting is in the picture, all that they did, they came back inconclusive. They cannot find any reason for that face to be there. Now, as someone who draws and has been drawing my whole life, I look at that and the proportions aren't quite correct. It seems a little elongated. So I would tend to say that it's probably not something paranormal, but we don't have any proof to say it's not, so therefore it's just inconclusive.
Yeah, it seems like the photo is going to have to remain a mystery. The fact or fake team, they're very thorough. They tried to rip it apart and replicate it as best they could, and they weren't able to.
No.
And so the jury is still out on the photograph. That's going to have to remain a mystery.
Well, I think Grant gave us a great explanation of it, and thank you to your colleagues for coming up with the work and what they put into it. So, although a mystery, we're further ahead than we were when we started.
Absolutely. What else you got for us, guys?
Well, photos are tough, too. Remember, it's like reading one page out of a novel. You don't know anything led up to it or anything that happened after it. So, but also, throughout the night, you know, the GHI team was able to have some great experiences in the Mayflower building as well. And during their time in there, there was a weird, almost like a voice or a groan.
Yeah, it sounded very guttural. Yeah. And if you look behind us, it's up there. And
let's give it a listen.
You're going to hear a loud screech, and then you'll hear this grumble. Right here. Oh, did you hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we hear a lot of movement in the room, and then at a moment when nobody's really moving around, we hear this weird bump that doesn't seem to be coming from anybody.
Well, you hear it. See how you have the main kind of spike in audible stuff? Then you have the kind of medium one here, if I could show you.
Sure.
It's right in here.
Let's give a listen to it one more time.
Can you hear that?
Right here.
Loud and clear.
Yeah?
No sense. It doesn't make any sense at all.
And that we heard very similar sounds numerous times like that throughout different locations here. You'd hear what sounded like just a deep breath or exhale, but it always seemed to happen right around you. So it was great.
Yeah, in the Quaker building in particular, we heard what sounded like child voices and then also low voices. So we're not quite sure what's happening. A lot of it sounded very similar to that.
Well, the Quaker building, as you know, historically was notorious for some heinous acts.
Yes.
And to have a child's voice and then a large grumble, that's particularly interesting to me.
It's upsetting, yeah.
What else do you have for us?
The Quaker building, we also